Welcome, everybody, to the end of year 2 with the Chicago Cubs under the management of the Two Idiots franchise. This is how it looks. 80 and 82. We finished under 500, just barely, but this year was not a success story, unfortunately. We did not make the postseason. We had some slim hopes for the wild card race in the final month of play, but we just could not piece it together enough to get there. We got eliminated in the final week of the year. So just a firm rebuttal to the changes that we tried to make and the stars that we relied on. But we will end this year with some positivity. We're going to take a look at some of the leaders in the team as far as performers and the people that really made themselves known and did some good output for us. So sorting by position players here, we're going to take a look at the home run leaders. Panther and I had a friendly wager at the beginning of the year on who the home run leader was going to be. Panther, you guessed Juan Soto, and I guessed Seiya Suzuki. Both of us were wrong, and you were wrong to a much closer degree than I was. 37-40.
Soto the fucking bum. 4 home runs, you prick.
But Jordan Walker, the success story, 40 home runs on the year. He is the RBI leader as well with 110. Now, Soto, as much as we ragged on him and raked him through the coals, he did end up salvaging the season to have a good year, just not a great year. A 273 average with a 367 OBP. Just not the guy that we paid all that money for, unfortunately. Still a good player, still able to contribute, but he was not the star that we needed. But Jordan Walker took up some of the mantle in those areas and was able to come through on a much more consistent base and was able to get 2 of those leading stats there, home runs and RBIs.
Big thing with Walker, too, is he just, I don't know, we just kind of found him, too. It's not like we seeked him out. It's not like we had him on our radar and we were, like trying to put pieces together to get him. We just happened upon him and realized the dude had good stats, so we traded for him. So that was the awesome thing in that. It was like kind of a diamond in the rough.
Yes. And with steals, here's another one. This is a stat that I think you and I enjoy equally. I love aggressive base running, moving people up and getting them into scoring position. I think it's a crucial part of the game that not a lot of teams are able to put together with the exception of 1 or 2 guys. It still proves to be that way for us here. We've got Jose Caballero and Nico Horner with 25 plus each. And then you can see the drop down with number 3 is Juan Soto at 11. But 2 very highly rated base stealers here at the top in Caballero and Horner.
Yeah, Caballero come to us in the season, so some of those stats weren't all for us. But even with Horner's missing, Horner missed like, what, 3 months?
A lot of it, yes.
2 to 3 months, he still ended up with 25 steals. So, I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. And that'll reflect even more absurdly when you sort here by average. We're going to see Nico is the number 2 guy at 313 with that average, but Seiya Suzuki coming through unbelievably. We knew he had power. His vision really is not that great. His clutch is pretty high. So he's got some ups and downs offensively. So we expected more power than average here. And it is true that he's slugged 573, which is great, and a near 1,000 OPS. But the average is the actual stat that I am stunned by for him. 331, I mean, consistent, everyday production.
Yeah, he had very few outings where it was like overs. You know, he hardly had any multiple games in a row. We noticed Nico near the end of the season, there was a couple of games in a row he kind of didn't do well and stuff like that. But I mean, yeah, Suzuki pretty much all season long, pretty much within a series, he would turn it around.
Yeah.
So consistently hitting, and you know, he stayed like above 300 for a majority of the season, if not all of it. It was awesome.
Yeah. And it was really, really impressive. I loved what Suzuki was able to do for us. And then we talked several times throughout the year about the trade that we made for Ian Happ. That was originally supposed to be Suzuki. So the pivot that you and I made there definitely was the wiser decision in keeping Suzuki because his output was phenomenal.
Yeah, no, definitely was awesome to see him perform all year.
Yep. And by slugging percentage, we've got Suzuki again leading, like I said, at 573, but Jordan Walker mashing over 500. Soto just barely not making the cut there at 499. And Nico hot on his heels, 484. And Harry Ford, another young success story. His stat line just real quickly, 278 average for Harry Ford, 327 OBP, and 481 slugging for an 808 OPS. Harry Ford was such a delight for us at catcher this season.
Yeah, and he had 5 stolen bases.
Yeah.
Can't complain at all about Harry Ford's performance.
Mm-hmm. And it's the usual suspects here, the top 4.
We'll take a quick peek and get to the full spread. Yeah. So, I mean, he ended up with 17 home runs, and I mean, he doesn't have a boatload of power. He's still coming into it at 22 years old, but yeah, the kid played well. I like that. That was a good pickup.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and like you said, the big numbers here is saying with the 975 OPS. Awesome.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah. He's got to be one of the league leaders, I'm sure, but just on the team here, it's not close. Seiya Suzuki was the most successful offensive player that we had overall.
Juan Soto took the most walks, which isn't surprising considering his vision is as high as it is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, like his 90 walks was awesome. But you know, when you look back at the season he had, like sometimes the walk was the only number on his stat line.
Yep,
that was the worst part.
And that was part of the value with getting Soto, is knowing that he would have a higher OBP than somebody else. We don't need to just rely on his offensive output per se. We knew that the OBP was going to be higher, and that was part of the value in getting him. So I am still happy to see all the walks that he had. That is awesome. And as you can see, it's far and away higher than the other guys.
Yeah.
Conversely, here we're going to go to strikeouts, and Josh Young still is the leader in strikeouts. We noticed that there was a lot of them at some point in the season, but 137 is what we're going to end up with at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, his overall production wasn't horrible, but I was expecting a bit better average out of him for the year.
I was as well.
And a little bit more power. I mean, he's a slugger. I mean, he's got 98 power lefties, 71 power to righties. And I mean, that contact at 97 against lefties, he should have been mashing.
I think it's the vision that holds him back, and that's something that he's going to develop. He is still right on the nose here, very young. So he's got some time.
27. He's not
at 27. Yeah, I still consider that.
He's definitely still in that developmental phase to a point. But yeah, I wasn't gonna say disappointed by his performance. Just I don't know. I don't want to say I was expecting a lot more, but I was expecting a bit more out of him. Production.
I was whelmed, I would say.
Yeah.
Not underwhelmed, but just he was okay.
And then the leader of the stat board again is Mr. Seiya Suzuki with 49 doubles.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
That is a lot of doubles.
I mean,
but look who's going to be the triple leader. Can you believe it? Go ahead. Sorry. Harry Ford, the catcher, led the team in triples.
Yeah. And he had 32 doubles.
Yeah.
Like crazy.
It's really unbelievable. He overperformed, I think, this year for sure. If you look at his numbers, that wheel up on the top right, we're looking at 50s and 60s for those offensive numbers, even coming down to a 49 on his vision. He should be average to below average offensively, but Harry Ford really found a new gear this year and was able to speed run his development, get a lot of pluses, and just really, really do well consistently.
The fact that his speed is 81, that's a really high number for most catchers.
Yes.
Most of them, you don't see that big high speed stat with this kid, but yeah, I mean, he's got no secondary position, so he's not like he was, he plays another position where it would, benefit him to have speed. But look at his defensive numbers, and he's still good climbing at 22 years old.
Yeah, I think Harry Ford has got the potential to be a Hall of Fame catcher. It's that level of elite that we're talking about. His defensive numbers at 22 are already in the 70s, getting good, development every year. If he continues on that trend, he's going to be a massive contact catcher with fantastic power as well. That vision, discipline, and clutch are lower than you and I would like to see, but he did get good increases on them. So he's trending in all of the right directions, some of them massively, a +10 to contact versus lefties. I mean, just incredible development in some of these areas.
And +7 to his contact righties.
Yeah.
So, I mean, massive. I seen that +10. I was like, that's impressive.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this kid, like I said, we gave him the first season. He was back up to Alejandro Kirk. We traded Kirk and packaged him off, and we give Ford the shot. And I mean, it paid off. I was concerned that it was going to be, we give him that, that shove a little too early at 22 years old, but no, not a problem. Not a problem. I was impressed.
Yep.
I can't wait to see next season.
Yeah, I know. We just build off of this baseline here, and where is Harry Ford going to take us next?
Exactly.
All right, so winning pitchers for us, it is the rotation plus Hodge and Killian. I say it that way because Hodge was so late. Killian is listed as a starting pitcher, however, was doing just relief work for us and still had an incredible impact from long relief. Caleb Killian pitched for 152 innings as a reliever.
That is insane.
Yeah. And for a 3.73 ERA, Killian, I think, was one of the biggest surprises this year. And I kept getting them mixed up, too, because I was thinking, and you and I went back and forth on it as well, I thought that we had started Killian and then moved them to relief, and I was mistaken in that. So I had, I guess, somebody else in mind. But
you were thinking of Taj, because we started him a few games and he plummeted bad, so we sent him to the minors actually. So I think that's where the confusion came, was the two young fellas. Probably. We had the two of them, and we had too many starters, but we didn't want to really get rid of them. So that's what ended up happening. Is Killian had such an up and down year too. He had so many games where he would just completely collapse, and then never run a 4 or 5, within a month where he was pitching lights out. So he was so up and down, but I'm hoping he only has C potential, I do believe. Yeah, he's climbing still. So, I mean, he's getting close to, his ceiling within a season or two. And at 27, he's not going to ever be a 79, I don't think. But he might. You never know.
Maybe. We'll see what we can get out of Killian. And then, as you mentioned, Taj is back down in the minors. It's going to be strange, I think, developing Taj because of how disastrous his year was with us here at the major league level. Now, he was doing a lot better when we last looked at him for AAA.
Yes.
But that lower level of competition may just be what he needs to ride on for a little bit until he can build his stats up and some confidence and then come back to the show in a big way. We'll see. Grayson Rodriguez.
Poor Grayson.
The unluckiest pitcher that I might have ever come across. I mean, Grayson has got all the tools in the box. He's got great ratings and attributes from the 60s, mid-60s up to the 70s. He's got velocity and break, good control, decent clutch. 62 is not ideal, but it's not terrible. It's definitely workable. He's still young, developing, very high potential, but he was definitely a disappointment this year.
Yeah, he took him a whole month to get his first win.
Yeah.
He had loss after loss. And I mean, a lot of them, too, were close games, but then they had a few that were bad because his ERA, he couldn't get it back under a 4.
Yeah.
He went over that 4 and could not get back underneath it. He struggled, but I mean, some of it was not his fault. So, I mean, that's the worst thing when you're a pitcher. If your team can't score runs, you can't win games. So,
yeah,
you can't rely on the pitcher solely in every situation. But yeah, he had a rough year. So we're definitely need to bounce back from Grayson. Or for Grayson, sorry.
Yep. Matt Strahm is one of the most successful changes that we made, I think. His ERA, as far as a closer or reliever, is a little higher than what you would like. But we know that with limited innings, the chance for those ERAs ballooning up is really, really present. But Strahm, I think, was, for the most part, consistent in what we needed him to do. And with 37 saves, that's absolutely a successful year.
Yeah, he's not even a closer. We didn't put him in the closer position until a little bit into the season because
Yep.
Owsley just for some reason wasn't really performing. Like, not that he was horrible every time he went out, but he just was kind of really mixed. So we put Strom down in the closer, and he just seemed to flourish down there. And he had a couple rough ones, but I mean, overall, I mean, yeah, he was pretty decent.
Yep.
And unfortunately, Matt Sui's numbers they're most of them are not with this club because we traded for him late in the year. So he
Yes.
was doing some relieving and some closing for his other team this season. But yeah, he was a great pickup. I think he's going to really help our bullpen next season.
Yeah, he's going to be very impactful for us for sure.
Corbin Burns is a workhorse, 222 innings.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we needed. That's why we brought Burns over. In real life, the Orioles did the same thing for the 2024 season. We needed an ace that was going to be a workhorse for us and be consistently successful. And Burns was exactly what we bought and paid for. He won 15 and lost 7, over 220 innings, 186 strikeouts, and ended up with an ERA of 3.28, a massively successful year for Corbin Burns.
Yeah. And we just looked down a little bit lower there at Justin Steele.
Yep.
He had one of those seasons where it was a little more, at least it was more up than down for him, but he struggled. He had a couple of really bad outings, and his ERA was inflated. He lost a couple of games in a row, and then finally he started to really turn it around. And he ended up with a better whip than Burns at a 110.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Justin Steele had a bit of a rough year, but, I mean, he bounced back and at least had a positive win-loss record.
Yep, he did. And then if you look actually here at the entire rotation between Burns, Steele, Fried, Rodriguez, and then Hodge as the late addition, all of them came through except for Grayson Rodriguez and had a low 3 ERA.
Yeah.
You know, Hodge, I think, was the biggest delight success that we had, that we had no expectations for.
None.
Hodge became a fucking legend this year, and I'm so thrilled to see it. And looking at this, my immediate thought is, okay, we've got 5 guys with a low to mid 3 ERA. Grayson is the exception here. Do we move Killian into the rotation and put Grayson in long relief? Possible? Or, you know, there's options here.
Oh, dude, I think that'd be a mistake, but you know,
You think?
well, I don't know. Like I said, we're gonna put a starter that's a potential 83 overall in the bullpen for a 27-year-old C potential.
It's all performance,
Yeah,
though,
it's
man.
performance, but I mean, like I said, Killian had a lot of games too where he didn't perform.
That's true too.
So yeah, so it's a mixed bag.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the Hodgster leads the wrong category in walks. He definitely likes to walk him and likes to let hits in, but I think he thrives on that.
I think that he does too.
He performs better out of the stretch.
I think that Hodge gets an adrenaline rush because his walk stat is pretty low. But as you can see with a 3.69 ERA over 139 innings, that's obviously enough of a sample size. That's nearly a full season of starting pitching. And Hodge was able to get out of all those situations, despite the walks, despite having a higher whip than any other starting pitcher that we had. Hodge somehow was able to get more men on base and allow less of them in than somebody like Grayson Rodriguez.
163 whip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he somehow does it. I don't know how.
Yeah. You see so many times he let, like, you know, he had like 5 walks and 7 hits and 6 innings. It's like, holy crap.
Yeah.
1 earned
and
run.
Still only 1 or 2 earned runs.
It's
yeah,
like, what the hell? And then there was a few he got bombed in, but I mean, yeah, like, I mean, that's going to happen to everybody. But yeah, it was so funny, man. He was the man, the myth, the legend. So it's just too funny.
Yep.
So, and we go to strikeouts, and no one got to 200 strikeouts.
Nope.
That's a big number.
I think part of it too is with Grayson. So he would have with this math right here, Corbin had 32 more innings pitched, but only 12 more strikeouts. So the K per 9 is going to be higher for Grayson. Yeah. I think the reason that he didn't reach 200 innings and go further was just because his ERA kept getting blown up. And so he would get taken out of the games earlier than somebody like Steele or Burns or even Fried. He was able to get through less innings because he was inconsistent for a while. And I think ultimately that handicapped him on the potential of some of these. So I think that he could have been a lot closer to Burns in the strikeouts, or even possibly led it if we had let him go for a similar amount of innings pitched. But he just didn't have it in him this year to get to those extra innings.
Yeah, they both started 33 games. So, I mean, it just, oh, God.
Yeah.
Couldn't even finish my sentence after seeing that.
Then one of the questions that I was going to ask after the end of this recap is, some of the bigger picture kind of things, like who was the biggest disappointment this year? And I think we're on them. I think Abner Uribe was a absolute disaster, and the opposite picture of somebody like Porter Hodge. We had no expectations for Hodge, and we had massive expectations for Uribe. The potential is absolutely flip-flop. Porter was a D potential before we brought him up to a C just for fairness sakes based on his performance. But Abner is an A potential guy. He's very young. He had an incredible first year in the major leagues with a sub 1.5 ERA. And we pulled him in this year. Now, he only pitched 24 innings. Part of that is also because of how disastrous it was for us. Over 2.3 whip and a over 7 ERA. I mean, it was just abysmal. I don't think there's a bigger disappointment on the Cubs franchise than Abner Uribe this year.
No. I mean, the biggest thing is Soto's a disappointment on a large level for me, just because his performance it took him, 3/4 of the year to finally realize to take the bat out of his asshole to be able to play. But Abner just sucked. Like every second outing was a disaster. Like it was like he'd walk, and his walk stat is horrendous. But I mean, he'd walk like 2 or 3 guys almost every outing. And there was so many that he didn't even finish an inning, didn't get an out, and he'd walk in, walk 2 and then give up an earned run, and they take him before he even got an out. It's like, dude, like that happened way too often. But he was a massive disappointment. I was wanting to pull the trigger on dumping his ass, but you've talked me into keeping him, and he's getting regulated to AAA. He's got to go. If he doesn't go to AAA for at least the first 2 months of the year to hopefully pitch well, he's going to be traded before he's complete ass.
Yeah, I don't think we play around with Uribe anymore, because we've got guys like Cabrera here that we're looking at on screen now, and this is the type of stat line that we expected and hoped for. I think that Cabrera, Matsui, and Hamilton are all performing at the level that we expected out of Uribe. So between these 3 guys, I'm extremely comfortable with Uribe going down to AAA and getting off of this bullpen list.
Yeah, I think that'd be hopefully a good move, because hopefully he'll level it a little bit, develop a little bit more, and then actually be able to be put in our bullpen and worthwhile and not be a liability. But out of the starters, Max Fried had the best ERA at 3.26.
That's awesome.
Max wasn't even supposed to be a Cubby for long.
Yeah.
He was a pickup to be traded, and we just couldn't trade him because of that free agent signing. They're on your team until like June 15th or whatever. So, but I mean,
we got dunked on by the fine print with him.
Yeah, but we had the last laugh. I mean, he had a 3.26 ERA, like he had 167 strikeouts, like he's 196 innings pitched. Yeah, can't complain.
Yep.
So yeah. Quality starts. This is where the innings pitch really comes into focus. 24 quality starts versus Grayson's 19.
Yeah.
And he also pitched 5 complete games to Grayson's none. So that's where the inning count definitely comes into play.
Yeah, it sure does.
But
and then the quality starts too is that they had the same amount of games started at 33. Steele and Fried were at 32, so right there with them. So all of these guys should be able to be compared to each other. And yeah, you can see that it's just a drastically different number set here between the advanced numbers, the quality starts, and Grayson's win percentage down at 400.
Yeah.
It just he could not get it together for even a few innings at a time, it would seem like, for most of the year. He'd have a good, 2 or 3 innings and then get bombed in the fourth, or he'll start bad and then get it together or whatever. But yeah, Grayson, we could never get the yo-yo to come back up.
No, that was the problem. It just never made it all the way back into the grip. It definitely flailed all over the place. But yeah, he like his walks, I don't think were horrible. It was his biggest problem was just getting shelled. I mean, there was too many games he gave up 3 and 4 runs. Like, that became a thing. Here comes Grayson's 3 and 4 runs, and it was consistently 4 runs, 4 runs, 4 innings, 4 runs, and it's like, man. So yeah, I mean, definitely need a better year at a Grayson.
I think we're gonna get it.
Yeah, I think he's still got some room to grow. So yeah, we're going to. Who hit the most? Who hit the most people? Killian.
Killian
hit the most people.
Killian, Burns, and Hodge.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Grayson 2 at 5. Wow. Not that bad though.
No, it's not that bad.
6 hit batters over Corbin's 222. That's not too bad.
Yeah, no, he faced literally hundreds of batters and only hit 6. That's not terrible.
Yeah, not horrible.
So let me ask then, as we end the year and we've got, the best of the best that we're looking at, the worst of the worst as well, I'd like to snag a prediction from you, if I can, and I'd like to write these down as well.
Oh.
So what I'd like to say, we asked about home runs. Who would lead the team this year? We made our predictions. What I would like to ask is, who is going to have a breakout year in 26?
Who's going to have a breakout year in 26?
I'm looking at our lineup right now. What I'd like to do is each of us pick an offensive player and each of us pick a pitcher. It can be a starter or a reliever. Doesn't necessarily matter. But I'd like for us to grab one guy who we think is going to make the jump to the next level.
Man, Seiya Suzuki, the 2 seasons so far, he's been phenomenal. There's really not much of a jump out front for him. I don't think. I would love to say, if you were look at last year, this current season to next year, I'm hoping it's Juan Soto. I'm hoping that bum hits like 325 and hits like 50 home runs, Walker, what can I say? The dude smashed. I'd like to see Pete Crow.
Yeah.
Breakout. I think he's got a lot of ups. If he can stay healthy for the year, I like to see him hit for a lot better average. And I'd like to see him get double digits in home runs. I think it's possible if he plays a full year.
It's possible.
I think he could muster that. I'd like to see Pete Crow kind of pick it up a little bit, to have a better season. I don't think it's going to be like groundbreaking at 23 years old and still, creeping into that overall 80. But yeah, I'd like to see him put up a really good average and at least put double-digit home runs on the board.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'd like to see stolen bases go up too.
I think it will, as you had mentioned. As long as he stays healthy and injury free, that was a big issue for us this year. He was out for a very extended period of time, but his durability showed improvement as well. We know that he's going to be in a few years' time an elite level defender. It's already pretty much there. His speed is legendary. But a +7 to contact lefties and then good additions everywhere else. I think that, that's a very good call, is that PCA is gonna tear a new level next year. He was one that I was definitely considering. As you know, he's my guy. I love PCA.
You're a big fan. I'm a big fan too. The kid's got like just the right kind of attitude. He works. He's fast. And I just kind of like the way he plays. He's aggressive without being cocky aggressive, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like this guy bunts for doubles, you know? That's what I like about him.
I think bunts for doubles. I think PCA is kind of the old school player that is absolutely willing to put in the work. I think there is a quiet confidence slowly building with a guy like PCA.
Yeah.
In real life, I'm referring to now. I think that, like you said, you know, he's a workhorse when he's on the field. He'll hustle for every one of those. Another guy that's of a similar archetype, I think, is Bobby Witt.
Yeah,
I think that they both are going to be, you know, leaders on their respective teams. Bobby already is, of course, but like when he was, I think, at this same level of PCA right now, is that probably similar things being said. I think that PCA is going to be one of those guys. So I'm excited to see his career in real life, and especially excited to see his development here in the show with us. That being said, I will pick my offensive player. I won't say the same one just for funsies here. Like I said, I was heavily what is it? Not comparing. I was contemplating whether or not I wanted to pick PCA, but since you have, I will pivot over and I will say that Josh Young is going to have his breakout year. It was kind of disappointing this time around. I think Harry Ford, this was his breakout year, so I can't pick him. He definitely overexceeded expectations. And then guys like Caballero, I expect to contribute consistently as he has done. So I think it's going to be more of the same for a lot of these guys. But the younger guys that we have, PCA Young, and then Shawnuel would be another one. But we'll see what happens here in the offseason as far as him. We've got some plans. But yeah, there's I think a lot of upside to Josh Young, and I think that he's going to reach that next year.
that would have been my other pick. If you would have went first and picked Pete Crow, I would have picked Young.
It's well, not good. That just means they both need to do it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, and that's the way I looked at it. It's who I want to be. So yeah, so here it is. I picked first that time. You get to pick first this time.
All right. So a breakout year. I think that now, and we got to keep the context of this year alive. So guys like Burns, Steele, Freed, those three we had high expectations for, and they met them. Grayson did not meet them. And then Porter Hodge broke through the ceiling and had his breakout year already. So I can't say Porter. I think what we're going to see coming up this year, let's say, oh, this is tough. This is real tough. I think that Uribe is going to get a handle on it.
Oh.
I think that this year he's going to dominate in AAA.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not going to say whether or not we call him back up this year. I don't think necessarily it's his year to come back to the show out of the disaster that was this one. And we talked about possibly trimming the bullpen down to a smaller rotation anyways. I think that Abner probably stays in AAA all year, but I do think that he's going to get massive development and he's going to show why we want to keep him in AAA.
Okay. Wow. Bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. The thing is, I don't know if Matt Strom is going to be with us all year.
Okay.
He had like +8, +3, but he's got a couple negatives. He is still on the upswing at 33, and we're not paying him a boatload of money. Yep. But last year was a bit of a down year for him out of his last two. I would love to see if we don't pick up a closer and we move Strom back into a setup role or reliever role, I want to see his numbers like Matsui level.
Okay.
If he stays at closer, I definitely still see him improving because he's still on the upswing at his age. He hasn't started a massive decline. I think Strom's going to be on the pitcher side for me. I mean, I was wanting to say Grayson, but that's the easy one, right?
I think
and that's kind of with you saying Abner. It's like that's the rough one, you know, to go out on the limb and put your hopes and dreams on that Stupid haircutted asshole. But yeah, I'm thinking if Strom stays at the closer, he's gonna have more saves and a better ERA. And if we move him into a setup or middle relief, he's gonna be Matsui level.
Okay.
Like a near 2 ERA. I'm figuring Strom's got it. Yeah.
I like it.
Yep.
All right, so our predictions are in. We've got an offensive player and a pitcher as well that we have targeted to have breakout years in 26. That's all that I had in mind as far as predictions. So if there's nothing else that you wanted to predict for 26, then I'd say we're just about ready to advance.
I think we're gonna advance today.
Okay.
Start putting the season behind us. Oh.
Nice of them to tell us.
Yeah. Oh, we dropped to a C rating.
Job security is average.
Yeah. So that was a B.
Yeah.
We didn't meet our yearly goal, and we haven't met our contract goal. So this could be the last season for the two idiots with the Cubbies.
It could be.
What's the league leaders?
Wow, Corbin Burns led the league in complete games with 5.
Nice.
And Seiya Suzuki, I had a feeling that 49 was going to lead it, and yes, it sure did.
Nice.
Awesome.
Good stuff.
Yep.
Good stuff, boys. I like that. So the matchups for the playoffs, Houston, Seattle, Tampa Bay, Toronto, with the byes going to Texas and Minnesota.
Yep.
And the National League, it's Atlanta, Miami, LA, and Arizona, with the byes going to Cincinnati and Philadelphia. Cincinnati, man, where the hell are they?
I don't know.
Jesus.
They crushed it this year.
Damn, 96 and 66, I think, was their final.
Something like that.
Yeah. They had like a 14 or 15 game lead of the division. Wasn't even close.
Yep. I am surprised by Cincinnati. They did so freaking good. But what I am most pleased by is that I don't see the Yankees anywhere on this bracket.
No. No. That makes me happy too. So far, the first win goes to Seattle, and then one win goes to Atlanta.
Yep.
Well, Seattle took it in 2 games. Tampa Bay's up 1 on Toronto.
Atlanta took it.
And Arizona's up 1.
Okay. I'd like to see the Dodgers out of it as well,
Oh,
just because they're one of those teams that you expect the success given their payroll.
Damn it, the Dodgers won.
Oh, they traded. Yep. Okay.
Toronto and Tampa Bay are 1 game apiece.
Yep.
Tampa Bay put Toronto out. Damn it. Oh, and LA.
The Dodgers eliminated Arizona.
Okay. All right, let's see what the
good for the Smokies.
Hey, look at that.
Hey.
Positive
We've
somewhere.
neglected Double-A all year.
Oh, yeah, we have already looked at them.
I barely know who's down there at all.
Couldn't tell you. Jonah Palma, I think, is the only one I know down there.
Jonah Palma.
Wow.
Oh, no. The Dodgers going up 2-0 over Philly.
Ooh, and Cincinnati's 2-1 on Atlanta. And we got Tampa Bay and Seattle with their respective wins in their division.
Yep.
All right. Ooh, tied up across the board.
Wow. Oh, man. Sweeps for the Dodgers and Cincinnati. That's going to be a hell of a series right there. With those teams this year, those are the powerhouses. That's the matchup I actually wanted to see. I would have been okay with the Phillies and the Reds.
Yeah.
I don't root for the Dodgers, but I know how good they are.
I root for the Dodgers either. Never have.
No.
Never was a Dodgers fan. So we got Tampa Bay up 2. We got Minnesota up on 2. Minnesota.
Oh, we're going all 5 between Tampa and Texas. And there's a bye day.
Tampa Bay.
And Tampa, my hometown boys, advance versus the Twins now. Very interesting.
All right, let's go. Ooh, Cincinnati.
Cincinnati
and Tampa Bay.
And Tampa.
Oh, Minnesota come back. Minnesota.
Cincinnati with 3. Can it be a clean sweep of LA?
Yes.
It can.
Damn.
Wow.
It is Cincinnati's World Series to lose, dude.
It really is. Now, the Twins were also very, very good this year.
Oh,
in
yeah,
our
they had
simulation.
phenomenal record, yeah. But look, Cincinnati undefeated.
Yeah. Oh, Tampa coming back. Now, this would be really fun because obviously I'm in Tampa. Sarah is a big fan of the Tampa Bay Rays. That is her actual favorite team. Her second favorite team is either going to be the Orioles because of me and it's rubbed off on her, but she's also been a Cincinnati Reds fan for her whole life.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Now, her dad actually had a major league tryout as a pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds.
Oh, well, that's cool.
He slept through the tryout, so he never made it. But but if we get to a World Series between Tampa Bay and Cincinnati, Sarah's going to be so excited.
All right,
They had an off day.
One more.
So, yeah, we'll see.
Oh my God.
We're going to 7.
Man, it's been a slog to get through the American League.
Yeah, Tampa's had to fight, and they're eliminated. It's Minnesota and Cincinnati.
Is it going to be a straight sweep for the Sins? Let's see.
It could be.
Oh, up one.
There's one.
There's
two. Off day.
Oh, my
3.
word.
Cincinnati might have the postseason sweep. They do.
Swept the fucking playoffs.
Wow. Honestly, good for them.
Unbelievable. Holy shit. And I mean, they beat Atlanta, LA, and then the Twins. Jesus.
That's 11 games in a row for Cincinnati.
We could barely muster. We couldn't even get 10 games in a row this season. They won 11 in the playoffs.
Against the best of the best.
Oh.
What a year for Cincinnati.
Jeez. Can we see awards? Have they done the awards yet?
Yeah, it should be done now that they're over. Wow, Davis Schneider averaged 1,000, so he is the World Series MVP. Who is Davis Schneider?
He is a Blue Jay that ended the season batting barely over 200.
Oh my gosh,
he had a rough year. He's not an everyday player for the Blue Jays, but
he only had 1 RBI.
But in this simulation, the dude's crushing it, dude. I don't understand why he got MVP, but
I don't know.
Ugh.
Go the other way on the awards. There should be more World Series.
Oh,
postseason MVP Spencer Steer. Wow, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs. Absolutely a contributor there. Jeez.
All right,
and then we're back to the regular.
So we got a Silver Slugger with Suzuki.
Yep.
And Soto. What else did we get? Anything else? Take a quick scan. Oh, Harry Ford come close. They get the Silver Slugger for catcher. Jordan Walker. Not that close. He tried.
Yeah, he tried.
Any gold gloves? I don't think we get any gold gloves. Oh, we did. Caballero.
Gabby.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Good for us. Young come close.
Yeah, pretty close to a gold glove at third. So that's nice at least. You know, we can rely on him defensively.
Sean Welcome in third and voting for gold glove. Well, I was just saying voting.
With the hat trick.
Yeah. Nice. Harry Ford again. Gold glove for catcher. Right there. Like not even that far away.
No, very, very close. Man.
Damn. Next year. And say Suzuki.
Yep. Almost got the Hank Aaron Award.
Rookie
Lots of close guys here.
Yeah, I mean, like we definitely didn't completely fall apart. We got a couple of awards and a really couple close ones. So yeah, we're good. Spencer Strider.
What a legend.
Look at Glasnow's ERA though.
Yeah.
Was it the strikeouts must give it for Strider? Because I mean, a 15-5 and a 2.99.
It must be wins, and then the weights come in for the other stats. But yeah, strikeouts may have pushed him above. I don't know.
Wow. Wow. All right.
What a strange year for some and
Oh, gee.
bad year for others, happy year for others. I mean, it's baseball.
He retired players. Jake Lee and the two Jakes. Jake's like, I'm going to be the first Jake to retire. And then Jake's like, no, I'm going to be the first Jake to retire.
Oh, Justin Verlander finally retired.
Oh, wow.
Due to age.
One was Jake Lee's ability, and one that was Jake Slaughter was his injury.
I wonder what the injury was.
I don't know. Probably a broken fucking hand. That's a common blistered finger, broken hand, fractured this, broken that. One guy get injured, then get injured again on the injured list.
Max Scherzer finally gets his inductee.
Yep.
Awesome. So we need to hire 2 more coaches.
Or re-sign.
Can
we re-sign them from this? No, we can't do it from here.
Nope.
Okay. We need a first base coach.
All right. What's out there?
So he's grade A, plus speed, plus fielding, and plus reaction, but -2 on arm strength. -3 on arm strength, even worse.
Jeez.
But I do like that +2 to durability.
I do as well. I think that was one of the core things that we struggled with was injuries this year. It wasn't necessarily even the amount of them because most of them were minor, but it was some really, really critical ones for a couple of the guys. If we can get a bump to durability overall, I think that would be really nice. So what do you want to try to offer him?
I don't like it doesn't say his interest.
No, it doesn't yet. But I think, like I said, the trend has been when we try to buy a coach that we've got to overpay for them by a pretty good margin.
Do you want to?
Because other teams
do you want to give him $1 million a year?
I think we go up to like 3.5.
Really?
Yeah, I think that'll put us up higher than other offers, at least as far as this, because we've also seen it to where they'll hire this guy instead of at first base, they'll hire him as a manager. Now we don't get that option, which you and I figured out. But some of these guys do cross over into different ones, so we'll see if that's enough to get him.
And there was the farm director.
Yeah.
Clutch.
Ooh, clutch.
Power. Breaking durability. I think Alex.
That's really nice.
I think Alex just got himself a +3 to power. Yeah, +3 to drag bunting
and speed. I don't care about the drag bunting.
No, but +3 to speed is nice.
Wow.
Like that clutch though.
Yeah, I really like the clutch.
I think that put us a nice big bump in durability with them getting +2.
Yeah, it would.
All right. Whoa.
He wants 3 years at 1.4. Why don't we go up to like 5 mil?
Yeah.
Still not much for those increases, and it's pretty significantly higher than what he wanted. So maybe we can grab these guys here on day 1.
So we oh, okay.
First base coach is done. Farm director's done. We're solid.
All right. So here's the arbitrations. We'll start with those, I guess. So everybody else is, these are the renew guys, right? So we just go in and just renew contract.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yep. All right.
That's it for that.
That's it for that. Uh-oh.
Ooh, Bobichette too.
Ooh. So the number 1 player in free agency is going to be Vladimir Guerrero. He has nearly no interest in signing with the Blue Jays for their offer. Well, you had said that you wanted Vladdy. What would it take to get him? What does he want? Ideally for him is 5 years.
Not happy with the region.
No. He does love our coaching staff.
Yeah.
Backloaded always. What if we gave him a player option as well?
Ooh.
That boosts it pretty good. So if we backloaded it, gave him the player option, he's going to be a star. For 5 years, we could get Vladdy locked in at the tune of $28 million per year.
Yeah.
That's not that bad.
We could actually probably
Yeah, we could drop it a bit.
A little bit. 27.80 here. Trying to save
It's
$50.
barely moving still. He's still got very high interest.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then if we do this, then we've got to trade, or maybe not trade, but we got to drop down, I guess, Nolan to AAA, or do we leave him on the bench instead?
So we're going to throw this offer at Vladdy.
Okay.
He loves it.
Loves it.
Loves it.
Well, half of the years for not much less money. Of course he loves it.
Yeah.
Now, this does give us the contract offered, and then it's Q, so it is qualifying now. So I'm not sure where the difference just came in because it only said qualified, but it does look like we will lose a draft pick for Vlad.
Wow, that's all we're picking up in the offseason is Vladdy?
I think that's it, because, like, really, I think we have all the other pieces, number one. Number two, we don't have extra money. Number three... There's not really any other guys that we talked about getting rid of in any real serious sense. You know what I mean? We've got a couple guys that need development, but I think that all the pieces are there, you know, which is part of the heartbreak of 25 and not reaching the postseason and not reaching 500. I think that we've got an incredibly strong team, and it just didn't work this year. So going into next year, I think that all the pieces are pretty much still there. And if we add Vlad, then that's a huge power bat to first base, and maybe that could be the difference.
All right, let's see what happens. There should be like an advance a day button here.
Yeah.
Instead of me having to go in and.
Ooh, oh, I got nervous.
Jesus, what the hell is that? Okay.
Okay. Oh, we got him.
Vladdy is a cubby.
Welcome to Chicago, Vladdy.
Damn. All right.
Let's go. So that means we need to look at our lineup and change that around. Oh, wow. How did we do? 21 and 11. Let's go.